Hi, I'm Anka Guje. I'm an e-commerce web developer helping you sell easier online. Today we are going to talk about personal branding for artists or actors. For those of you who don't know me very well, I used to be involved with performing arts. I am trained in Indian classical dance and I have a master's in drama, in performance making. Why is personal branding important for you if you are an artist or an actor? If you are an actor, it's a very competitive and uncertain industry. It seems that you always have to compete with other actors and try to convince the casting director to hire you instead of the others. Well, in today's world, in which social media is a very important component, having a large social media following would actually work a lot in your favor. But I know a lot of artists or actors who don't feel comfortable putting themselves out there on social media because they think it is frivolous or it's somehow not relevant for their work. Well, I want to explain to you a few points today which will show you that actually personal branding for you as an actor is really important and it will increase your chances of having a regular income even in uncertain times, such as the ones we are living today. First of all, when you are an artist or an actor, even if you are the most talented one in the world, you may not get a lot of chances unless you let people know that you exist and you let them know what exactly makes you special and different from other actors. At the end of the day, there are many artists and there are many actors all over the world, and they all are trying to get a little bit of their audience's attention. So in a similar way to doing branding for a business, it is necessary to go through a branding process for you as an artist or as an actor. I am using the words interchangeably because it really applies to both, and I've seen this with many of the artists I know who are painters or other type of artists and who feel very shy or hesitate a lot when it comes to putting themselves out there. They think that their art should speak for themselves and they're not comfortable using their voice. When you are an artist, if you do not use your voice to tell your story, it will be much harder to connect to your audience. And the reason you are hesitating to put yourself out there is because you are focusing on yourself. Perhaps you feel awkward or uncomfortable filming yourself with a phone like I'm doing right now. But the reality is that you are creating art not just for yourself. You are creating it because you have something to offer to the world. The basic principle in marketing is that we have a service. In this case, it's a service or an offering that helps solve a problem in the most unique and perfect way. And if you identify exactly what problem you are solving and how you are solving it better than others who are doing the same thing as you, then you are going to be in a much better position at being able to articulate your message and using it so that you can connect to your audience in a very authentic way. I know this is something that will force you to look at things in a very different way. But just picture this. If you were to appear on social media, it's not just you appearing in your living room and not knowing what to talk about. That won't be very effective and it won't actually help you much. But if you focus on what is the main problem that you are trying to solve and how you solve that in the best way, then it will be much easier. You'll have a frame of reference, you'll have a story to tell. And when you tell a story, you can enter into a persona and then it's much easier. You can present the parts of yourself that you choose. It doesn't mean that you are like a reality TV star that has to show every single thing. And besides, even a reality TV star, they actually script the episodes because they have to select the most dramatic things that happen so that it will attract more audience. So even that is not actually a spontaneous thing that they just follow them around with cameras. Or even if they follow them with cameras, they are going to edit and put the material together so that it tells the story in the way that they want to tell it. So when you craft your personal story, it doesn't necessarily mean that you start talking about what you were doing in kindergarten and how you used to like to play with blocks and things like that. That's not relevant for anybody. But you need to figure out what is the core message that you're trying to convey and what makes you special as a performer or as an artist. Imagine that you create a tagline for yourself, the way that Nike says, just do it. What makes you special or unique? Perhaps you are the actor that is funny in whatever story they tell. Or perhaps you are the actor that can improvise no matter what situation they are in. You have to think about what makes you special. Perhaps if it's hard for you to come up with all these details, then you can ask some of your past clients or friends that are very familiar with your work and ask them to give you an honest feedback about what they think first when they think about you, what makes you different or special from other performers. For example, if you are an artist, you might already have an idea of this, but the idea is that you can create a persona around you as an artist, not just around the art itself. So the persona of the artist is actually very important. So this is comprised of what you stand for, what values your art is trying to convey, what is your core message and values. This can sound very complicated, but if you take it step by step, you'll be able to have something that will help you when you try to come up with ideas for creating content and videos and or writing blog articles and so on. So what you have to think about is that this is not necessarily about you. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when you talk about your story or when you talk about what your message is, this is not about you. This is about how you are going to help solve the problem of your audience. Art definitely solves problems. If you are thinking that you are not a product, or you are an artist, so you are not a product, so you don't solve problems. Well, if you don't solve any problems, then people do not need you, right? Perhaps if you are a performer, the problem you are solving is that people feel bored or depressed, or they feel like life is full of routine and they cannot actually go and travel anywhere. But if they were to see your performance, that would uplift them, it would entertain them, it would bring humor or comic relief. So actually what you're doing is you're not just creating a funny material, you are providing comfort. You are enriching their lives, you are enhancing the quality of life of your audience. Perhaps in an ideal sense, you are providing the opportunity of transformation. Remember when you saw a movie or you read a book that really touched you very deeply? You can remember that weeks, months, sometimes years later. And sometimes when you experience that, you spend a lot of time afterwards trying to find that again. Because that type of deep experience that people can have when interacting with art or with a performance or with a movie, that can really have a very transformational effect. I hope this has been helpful as a starting point for you. And the first thing you need to ponder about is that personal branding is very important for you as an artist. Try to think about how you can come up with a basis for this. And if you need some help, I will be able to guide you, and you can get in touch with me and I can point you in the right direction. Thank you, and see you next time.